Live from our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, this is still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. And now to our main conversation for today. The Nigeria Labour Congress on Monday explained the decision of workers in the electricity sector to shut down the national grid, saying that workers are the wheel to a functional society. Hence, without proper remuneration, workers are meant to shut down operation.
However, NLC President Joe Ajaero faulted the Transmission Company of Nigeria over claims that the monitoring and compliance team of NLC attacked workers mining their facilities. It will be recalled that the TCN had announced the complete shutdown of Nigerians' power grid by labor unions as the strike by the labor unions began.
Very true. But in a twist of events, and announcing the shutdown of the national grid in a statement issued on Monday morning by TCN, a spokesperson Ndidi Mba, the transmission firm said the action was deliberately done by the workers, which amounts to economic sabotage against the country.
And that's true, but moving on, the NLC said that Nigerian workers would not be intimidated by any form of falsehood dished out by the TCN or any other agency or organization of the government.
Meanwhile, a former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's former aide Reno Omokri has faulted Joe Ajaero and accused him of working with Peter Obi to scuttle the economy of the country, an act which he claimed were purely political. And still with us in the studios to do justice to this very sensitive and trendy news item is Barrister Evans Ufeli and Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out and being a part of our show today. Now, I would love us to maybe take us back a memory lane. This is not the first time we've had strike actions in Nigeria. During the times of Adams Oshiomhole in 2002 particularly, there was a strike action when Olusegun Obasanjo increased the pump price of fuel from 18% to 25% as at the time. And I would love to read a little pronouncement by Ufot Ekaite. Then he said, any act of intimidation and harassment, including barricading of gates, locking up of offices, and preventing workers from carrying out their lawful duties will be dealt with. Now, that is not new. This happened in 2002. 2024, we have a similar issue. So what are we having a reputation of what happened in the past, and what do you think are the consequences? Let me start with you, Ambassador Fansofeli.
Well, the issue about labor industrial action is not peculiar to Nigeria. Okay, industrial action is that labor by their employment, okay, have a social contract, okay, with the government of the country. The individuals who work, those who pay tax, those who do anything they do in society, have a social contract, unwritten social contract with government to ensure that government policies are kept within the range that will not exacerbate the hardship of the citizens. What it means is that government policies must be within the confines of human reality, the people's capacity to work and earn, okay? So for the smooth running of democracy in any government, the government must factor in the people's welfare, okay? That is why the Constitution says the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Now, where the government is taking decisions that are, overburdening, that puts pressure on the people's sustenance, then the people who work in the country will consider a strike action when negotiation has broken down. And that's exactly what Labour did. Okay, now this accusation and counter-accusation as to the TCN and the allegations coming from Reno Omokri and the rest of them, I don't know why people take Reno Omokri serious, because this is a man that is open to purchase. Once Reno sees money, he starts to talk anyhow. And I will tell him to his face when I see him. Not too long ago, he was supporting Peter Obi. saying he has never seen a man like that in his life. That is comfortable, that had everything going on for him, that need no, but has decided to sacrifice his time, his business, his everything for the country. The moment the other side bought him over, he turned around again and starts. Now he's attributing this strike action, he's linking Joe Ajaero and Peter Obi, as if strike action is not a popular way of negotiating the welfare of the people. Why should you say it's political when you know this thing is purely economic? You were there when they removed subsidy thoughtlessly, without thinking about the aftermath and what. You were there when they increased the tariff of electricity. You were there when the senators went and bought cars for themselves for over 100 million. These were the things put together that led to this. That Labour now said, no, we will need to, because the standard of living has gone beyond reach. So government should look at it. The 30,000 naira minimum wage that expired. So how is it to be now and Joe Ajaero?
Sure.
What kind of conspiracy theory is that? You just want to be talking every time. You just want to be talking. So I think people should not be taking Elon Musk seriously. Whether people be in Nigeria or not, cost of living has gone high. Everyone can feel it. So you cannot tell us that because of one conspiracy. No. So if the TCN, they're talking about the TCN and I think they are blackmailing Labour. Yes, because I actually supported the strike. Yes, because you cannot pay a man 30,000 naira and expect him to be sane.
You support the strike
economy.
to the extent of shutting down the national grid?
Yes, I support the strike. Well, not to the extent of shutting down the national grid, because it was not necessary. Yeah, because when you shut down the national grid, this government, people that take decision, how many of them rely on your national grid? Many of them have IPP, they have independent power, they have their own way of generating electricity. Maybe that one will just be an afterthought. It was the masses that suffered during the 24 hours this shutdown. I did not support it to the extent of, because during the time of Obasanjo and Adams Oshiomhole, they did not shut down the national grid. They did not shut. If anybody knows that they shut it down, should let me know, remind me, or refresh my memory. They did not shut down the national grid. What they did was to shut down government facilities to ensure that the seaport, the airport, and major facilities were not working. The national grid was unnecessary. Why should they shut it down? How? Because that time, during that Oshiomhole, we were watching it on TV. We were using light to see what was going on. This one, we couldn't even, keep a tab on what was going on.
Okay.
And they went ahead and said, okay, now government is going to pay. They signed that government is going to pay above 60. You understand? Why should NSC sign that thing? Because whatever government agree now, you have already signed. I don't know what I'm saying.
Very true.
So above 60 could be 61, could be anything, but you have signed already up front.
Thank you, Barrister Ivan Sufeli. Thank you. Moving over to you, Barrister Tunji Obinami. I saw you shaking your head that I believe maybe you believed otherwise, saying shutting the national grid was not necessary. And also, now the TCN management has resorted to deploying. No, Shay, I say I believe. Yes, I believe maybe you believe otherwise. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and also the TCN management has resorted to deploying the military across all of its plants in Nigeria in an effort to intimidate and harass workers to work under duress and against the future strike action shutdown of the national grid at TCN.
Well, that's a quote, actually.
Yeah, that's a quote
from Joe
Ajaero. Now, is this the right way to go?
Yes.
Why do you say it's the right?
I totally support all the steps taken by them.
Why?
Not that shutdown of national grid, not the airport being shut down, whatever. That side will not have been effective. You see, we need to let me borrow the slogan of the current government. No pain,
no gain.
No gain. This issue of national grid shutdown, how has it become a news? It's not new. This year alone, the grid has shut down for 4 times. Should we now go and as criminal offence been committed by TCN? If you are seeing national grid shut down as a new thing, as far as I'm concerned, you are just blackmailing the labor. This year alone, 4 times without any strike action, without anybody forcing. We have been told that there is a shutdown of national bill 4 times more. So why should I see that as a new thing? If it's coming out for the first time, that this is the first time our national bill will be shut down, yes, I would say,
No, the shutdown you refer to technical issue.
Why technical? This one is also technical.
It's a
Strike technical.
It's not as if they want to say, our member who are operating it, withdraw your service. So which you have to do. They are part of the labor movement, and they are being instructed to withdraw their services. They are free to withdraw it.
Affiliate, yes.
So upon withdrawal of their services, those who are sitting in the office taking AC can operate it. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, even though I am not saying, notwithstanding, I'm not saying that the request for minimum wage increment is a solution to our current problem. I see that as a solution to labor people who are in government service and those who are working for government.
It will not even solve their problem.
So I see it as a way of saying, look, if you can't beat them, you join them. I see that a low hanging fruit by labor. In other words, labor has seen that, look, if we are to be fighting for good our refinery should be working. We must have electricity, constant electricity. We must have this and we must have that. They know they will not get that. And the only thing they can get easily for now out of blackmail government is to get the minimum wage. In other words, you see, we allow those in government to pit us against ourselves. Those in government, whenever there is a change in our economic situation, they change their budgets.
Sure.
Look at the budget for the National Assembly since inception. It has never been the same, and it has never gone down. It has been going up.
And it's always been first line charge.
It has always been going up based on circumstance on ground, based on economic reality. As well as the same thing, the presidency, they are feeding allowance every year or feeding allocation every year or whatever they call it, budget, keep increasing every year based on the reality on ground. And when it comes to you and I, they will say you have to be patient. There is no money on ground. If they can increase their own
Annually.
Annually, what is difficult? Why is it difficult for you to also improve on labor? On those who are working. I said, even though what I'm saying, like I said, it's not going to benefit us. The increase in wages. It's not going to, when I say us here, I talk about people like us who are not working for government. People like us who are not working for companies who can pay money. People like us who are working for ourselves, who will even be probably compelled to pay that minimum wage in a way. I'm saying that because I'm not under obligation.
Okay.
As I'm not labor in my office to pay because my staff are not up to 25. So I'm not on that, but I will be compelled to pay it because those my staff will also be going to the same market. Now, because once there's an increase in the minimum wage, the price of commodity will also go up, and it will affect everybody. So I'm not in support of the high cost of. They must increase minimum wage. And so what they have done, even calling up the strike, is a good strategy for me. By today, Labour will have lost its integrity for Nigeria. Nigerians are not patient. They don't want to apply anything. They are asking them to go on strike. They went on strike. They withdrew the service of their people, and things went the way it went. People are complaining. The same set of people will say this Labour can only bite. They cannot bite. So what do you want to do? So they know as Labour and they see themselves in between. They must balance whatever they are doing. They must ensure that people who are fighting for are not hurt. And they must also do their job. So and that's what they're trying to do. So in fact, they have done the best to say we are suspending the strike.
No, they said they're relaxing it.
They're relaxing.
They're suspending it.
Relax.
Thank you,
So it's good for them. And like you said, what they have signed on is not for them to say we have agreed on 61 or 62. They've not said that. They only said that we are going to go and go back to the meeting.
No, they didn't say they have agreed.
They are going back to the meeting.
Government said that it will pay above 60.
Commitment to pay above 60. And they say, well, we'll go to meeting and consider it.
Above 60.
Consider our meeting and we'll consider it. They have not said they've agreed to pay to whatever they say they are paying above 50.
No, that's not what they said. But they have signed to the effect that government will pay above 60.
Yes, government will pay above 50 does not mean when the government comes with 61, they must accept it.
What we have signed up front.
No, they're not. They're not signed for 61. Above 50 does not mean whatever the government has agreed must be what we will pay and we will take. No. We see how it's subject to discussion. And that's why they said they must discuss every day for
next 5
days. So that's what I think they will be discussing. So apart from that, I am in total support of what Labour the step they're taking. In fact, this is the most effective strike under this organized Labour. So for me, I am in total support. National grid or national grid shutdown is not new. It's not today that we have been seeing that those shutdown without even any strike.
Okay, thank you, Barrister Tunji. But now the government has a choice to move away from the national grid. Now that is something that is there, and shouldn't this give them a sense to do what is right? Because we only have one national grid at the moment. Now, shouldn't this give them a sense to do what is right and look up for other measures, so that in case something like this should come up again, they would have something to fall back on? And Nigerians, as you said, Nigerians can't cooperate all the time. They most times would start complaining that, oh, this thing is going further than normal. They are not producing what they are supposed to produce, especially the private sector. Now, what do you have to say about this?
Nigerians are complaining? You need to aggregate the number. I mean, one, 2% complain, not Nigerians. So leave that aside. The issue of the national, there's no country in the world that practices federalism, that maintains just one grid for the entire country. It's no longer done. It's outdated. Okay? A national grid is required when the population is sizable. Okay? When the national grid was built, when the population was small. Well, I don't think we're up to 10 million people. Okay? So, all over the world, where you have federalism, every state will have that. Though we have a lot to the effect now that you can now, it has been decentralized, but the states have not come up with a framework. Most of the states have not come up with a framework to have this thing, done. Otherwise, the national grid should be optional. If you want to be there, you can be there and then contribute there. If you want to be out of it, a whole state can go out of it. When people install solar system and all that, you can decide to explore other options of power generation. Mustn't be consecrated to the national grid and all that. So you are talking about alternative. That can this instruct government to see that plugging the entire nation on one source of power supply is not good enough. The government already know that, because, like he said, we've had collapse of the national grid over 4 times. In fact, there was time we collapsed twice in 2 weeks. You understand? There was total blackout and all that. So that is a recurrent issue, because the number of supply, the number of persons plugged into it, and the fact that the facilities are also old, the wires and all that carry the power, they can't carry a particular weight inside. So you have a drop in it. So you're always going to have problem with national grid as long as everybody's plugged into one source. That's not the right thing to do. Alternatively, government have made the law to decentralize it. Now, let the states attorney generals advise their governors appropriately to come up with a framework to see how everyone can decide to generate. There's a lot to that effect.
Very true. Let's talk about moving in military personnel to man the gates of the TCN going forward. Don't you think that's adding salt to injury, Pastor Tunji?
No, there's nothing bad about that. The government has the responsibility of protecting life and properties. They believe that is not safe and they need further security. But the point is that they cannot force people who are not willing to operate what's it called? I don't know what they do there. Who are not willing to press the button. If they say we are on strike and they say I'm going to my house because we are on strike, they can't force them not to go. So I don't know whether those soldiers will be able to operate the grid when they are not there. So for security, they can provide security. They cannot force people from saying I'm not going to provide service because we are on strike. That's not the law. That's against the law. So you can't force them. They have the right to join the strike. Strike is allowed by law, and they have the right to also join as a member of it. So if the government they have the responsibility to provide security. So they have the right to bring anybody they want to bring to secure those areas against those who want to vandalize it. But against people who want to say I'm withdrawing my service, that's not the problem.
Because that's actually a quote from Joe Ajaero himself, stating that the military were brought in to harass workers and force them, not to leave the facility. And I do not know. Do you think there's a way legally, that can be addressed? Because it's like stepping on the rights of the workers.
It's a breach of fundamental rights. They are unfortunately in Nigeria. I would like to, particularly the soldiers, the military, they've seen themselves above the law. They're operating above the law, and nothing is happening. You can see them recently. They shut down Banners Plaza, and on the ground that one of them was beaten. I'm not supporting anybody beating a soldier. If a soldier is a woman, as a soldier you are like me. The same right you have, I have the same right. If you feel offended by my act, you go to court and take proper action against me. It's not for one person to offend you in a particular house, and you come back just like what the NEPA would always do. Somebody will be owing them in a particular compound because there are so many people there. They will come and remove everybody's life. So that's not normal. That is not normal. So soldier in our military in our country, and even the police, some of them they've seen themselves as unpopular. That was why the IG could come up and say it is illegal. He turned himself to a court. Declaring a strike illegal, and therefore they were enforced. Even if they are committing illegality, it is not within the power of the IG to make an order to that effect. It is the court that will enforce it. Not, and I'm not aware that any court has granted any contempt proceeding against them. So no offense has been committed. So they were in a country where those in authority, and that was why you see those who are supposed to be protecting us, they see themselves as part of the government, and they must be protecting those in government. That's why people who were elected to represent us, to speak on our behalf, now see themselves as part of the executive. I'm talking about our National Assembly members. All these things they are giving on labor is unnecessary. Labours are only fighting for only less than 1%. They are fighting for only the workers. They are not, when people say why are Labour not fighting for what's it called? The care of refinery. Why are they not asking for government to divert? That's not their major responsibility. That's our responsibility as a whole. So, and that is even responsibility for those who are National Assembly to fight on our behalf. That those people see themselves as part of the executive and the government, and therefore they can't speak on our behalf. They must speak on behalf of the government. And that's why we are having problem. People who are supposed to be speaking on our behalf are not speaking. So when we blame Labour and say Labour should not be the one to fight for I'm not saying they can't fight. That's not their primary responsibility. To fight to say cost of goods are high. Government must bring it down. There must be this and that. Their major primary responsibility is about the workers.
Very true.
It's about the workers. So it's all Nigerians must come together to fight it, not all of them. And those who should lead us in that fight should be the member of the National Assembly. They are not.
Very true. Your final thoughts, Mr. Francis?
Well, my final thoughts, when I read the communique issued by Labour, and some of the things they outlined before the strike, I was surprised that those things were not part of the communique issue. Like one of which is the reversal of the tariff. Okay, which it was one of the major issue on ground. Why they are there, the cost of goods and refinery and all that. So some of those things did not feature up in the communique issue. But the most important thing is that they have been able to get the federal government to pull out. The Labour originally was asking for 94,000. Okay. Which, if you do the mathematics, they talk about the fact that you spend 100,000 plus per week. Okay, 100,000 plus per week. If it has to do with just not rent for family of 4, just feeding, and the feeding will not go beyond rice and about just a basic feeding.
Normal feeding.
Yeah, average feeding. Not even proper balance. Okay, so that it cannot go. But the truth is that it's not out of place to believe that even the 490, Nigeria can pay that money.
Really?
Yes, if they will cut down on waste, and then if they will stop giving us double standards. You pay the leaders in a different way you pay the workers. That's economic discrepancy. Inequality. If we take that off and then do a serious waste management, government, because it's not all of us that want to pay that money. Less than 1% of us. Because when you really think about it, you think perhaps maybe you are now calculating the total population. It's not all of us. So why would they say they cannot? So whatever it is, let them agree. But they should pay them. But nobody is thinking about the aftermath, the inflation that will come alongside this. But that's another flood. And unfortunately, that one is going to affect everybody.
Very true.
But the increment is just for some people. But the consequences of the increment is going to affect everyone.
Very
So
true.
nobody's talking about
I
that.
think let me give my final
All right.
thoughts on that. I am not in support of the 400 and something thousand naira or whatever. As much as I also agree that there must be increase whatever. Rather, we also be fighting for more economic growth in the country. Finally, those things that you said you are not fighting for again. Labour is not interested. Labour's interest is about the minimum wage.
It's money.
It's about those things they put is just to capture other people, to give them sympathy and support them. And that was why when they had their first meeting, the government promised, out of the 18 or so they listed, the government promised them 35,000 naira wage award. And that was the end of the protest. So they are concerned about their own. All those other things they put is just for you to have your sympathy and for you to follow them and go with them. The consequences, like you said, if there's any serious increment in the salary, will affect all of us. So I want to suggest that rather than all this issue of this minimum wage that is in our exclusive list, why can't we remove it from the exclusive list? Let each state determine what it can pay its workers.
Governors will tell you they cannot pay anything.
Let them, if they have the money, if they like, let them take it. It is their choice. If they agree to take it, that's their wahala.
But
So if
you
they
know
know
that the 30,000, some governors have not even started paying the 30,000.
because if you go to that state and ask the labor leader, they will tell you we are being paid.
Very true.
So you see, and like I said, again, maybe we should also do this band A, band B, band C, minimum wage. What I mean by that is this: let's classify ourselves. Because I don't believe that if they say we should be paying, not even take now, private sector. Well, if they say, I don't believe they say we should be paying 150 at minimum wage now, I do not expect any bank to say we cannot pay. I said they're not sincere.
The private sector have already paid more than.
We should classify this. Those in banking and clinical sector, the minimum wage must not be more than this, must not less than this. Those in social sector, they are minimum wage. So in other words, in the level you are,
It should not be uniform.
Yes, it's not be because you cannot say I should be paying 250,000 naira minimum wage, and the same bank that is declaring bills every month, every year. Me that is not declaring that is something, that is not declaring any profit, should be paying 250. So we should do. I think we should do a classification of that. Maybe that will solve a bit of the problem in a way.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of our show. Just a couple of weeks back, President of Kenya, William Ruto, was accused of bringing out a 60 million Kenyan shilling, for a chartered flight, and he came and he cleared the air. Then instead of doing that, it was his own friends that gave him a flight, that he took to visit the Washington, and he specifically said that if he must tell his people to tighten their belt, he will be the first person to equally do the same. And I would love to believe that our leaders, should take that as a reason, to do justice to our country and most importantly, our workers. We'd love to say thank you to our guests in the house, about Stefan Sofeli, for being part of our show, and Tunji Abdul Hamid. Thank you so very much for also making our time every time we want you to appear on our station, to always be around. We sincerely do appreciate you, and you've taken our time also. We'd love to say thank you. Please do visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV S7. I am Henry Ikwedike.
I'm Choma Kohe. Thank you.
On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching, and bye-bye from us.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.